and today is the fourth Sunday of Lent, and we will be focusing on the fifth corporal work of mercy, visit the sick. St. Pope John Paul II explained the importance of the sick needing to know that people care for them. He said, "The request which arises from the human heart in the supreme confrontation with suffering and death is above all a request for companionship, sympathy, and support in the time of trial." Illness comes in many forms. We may know loved ones who are physically sick or dying. We may know others who are emotionally ailing, or some who are spiritually suffering. It may be uncomfortable to visit these people. Maybe we do not know what to say, when sometimes all that we need to do is listen. Perhaps for us, it is difficult to be in the presence of someone else's pain, when by our mere presence that pain is alleviated, if only for a short time. Or perhaps we feel that we have nothing to give, when in fact it is they who give us the memories to cherish and the blessings to hold. The challenge is to move beyond our comfort zone and reach out in conversation, prayer, and kindness. The Gospel of Luke has Jesus telling us the story of the man robbed, beaten, and left for dead along the side of the road. First, a priest comes along. He crosses to the other side and passes by, perhaps late for Mass. Next, a religious man, a Levite, comes along. He also passes to the side of the road and keeps walking, perhaps unwilling to break one of the laws of his day. Then comes along a Samaritan man who took pity on him. The Samaritan stops, attends to his wounds, puts him on his donkey, and takes him to an inn to recuperate. As he continues on his journey, he instructs the innkeeper to take care of the injured man, telling him to include the cost in his bill. Acting as a neighbor to the sick man, it is the stranger from another town who is moved beyond his comfort zone to care for the injured man. As disciples of Jesus, we are asked to move beyond our fears and show mercy and kindness, as the Samaritan did in Luke's Gospel. Finishing his story of the Samaritan and the injured man, Jesus tells us, listening, to go and do likewise, fulfilling his commandment to love your neighbor as yourself. Today, we will be hearing from one of our parishioners doing just that. I will turn it over to Don, who will introduce us to someone who is living out this corporal work of mercy, visit the sick, in his life.
Today, celebrating Lent and celebrate what you do. Tell us what you do for volunteer service.
Well, I retired here about 5 years ago, and I felt like I wanted to give back to the community and to my church. So I started doing Home Alone for Catholic Charities, calling seniors, pretty much all by themselves, elderly people, and just finding out how they're doing, how their day is, and really just, especially with COVID, listening to what they have to say.
Right.
I'm a good listener, ask questions, and people need to talk, especially when they're by themselves. It's probably the only communication they get that day. And the biggest thing was checking in to make sure they're healthy. I think over a 10-year period, they saved 5 people's lives. If we don't hear from them, we contact them again, and if we don't get a hold of them, we call the next of kin to check on them. And if that doesn't work, we actually call the police department to check on them.
You also help with delivering food, don't you?
Meals on Wheels.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah. I've done Meals on Wheels for the last 5 years of retirement.
Wow. And you actually get to see them in person.
You get to face with people.
During COVID, are they allowing Meals on Wheels?
You know, I've actually taken a back seat during COVID because of the concern.
You want to protect them and yourself.
Yeah, and my wife in particular.
Right.
So, I haven't done it. But it's a really great program. You know, these people, sometimes the only meal they get on a daily basis. So, Meals on Wheels is a real special program.
So little by little, our restrictions are diminishing. Once it's okay again, do you think you'll do Meals on Wheels?
Definitely.
Okay.
As soon as I get the vaccine here in the near
Yeah.
future, I'm hoping, I plan on going back and start delivering meals again, yes, most definitely.
That's great. Would you recommend to people who are looking for something to do as a volunteer Meals on Wheels?
I definitely would. They have a short supply of volunteers, and they need people. Catholic Charities has an oversupply of volunteers, which is a good thing too. So, but I'm looking at other avenues too. I just was in contact with Redwood Empire Food Bank, which is in the paper the other day, needs 160 more volunteers on a daily basis. And they're feeding the great percentage of Sonoma County. So I, being retired, have time, and I'd like to give back if I can.
That's why it's awesome that we're doing this, because some people don't know how to volunteer, they don't know where to call, and with this, if they're watching, they could actually call Meals on Wheels, Redwood.
Catholic Charities, Redwood Empire Food Bank is a big one.
It's huge.
My heart goes out to Redwood Gospel Mission that takes care of people with alcohol and drug addiction and feed people on a daily basis. That's another big, and I do a few things for them too.
Oh, that's great.
I'm involved with the spiritual exercise at St. Ignatius organization that does spiritual enrichment. If people are interested in that. So there's more needs in our community than there are people to fill those needs.
It's just educating people where to call and who to contact, because there are people that do want to volunteer, they just don't. Yeah.
The way I did it 5 years ago when I retired, is went on their website, found out what the needs were, and try to associate their needs with my abilities and skills. Because I think the biggest thing of volunteering is it's got to be enjoyable. You've got to like what you're doing. And if it's, if it's not in your comfort zone, or if it's not of your liking, you're not gonna.
And like you said, that phone call might be the only contact that person has all day. And if you're not in it 100%, they can tell. That's why that defeats the purpose.
Professionally, I was a salesperson, so I had listening skills and asking questions, and this turns out to be a perfect relationship. And that's what I did. I built relationships, and that's what I'm doing with my Home Alone. I've been calling people for 5 years, and I got some of these great relationships with these little 80, 90-year-old ladies, and oh, you're my sweetheart.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
It's a great feeling.
Well, thank you so much for participating in this program, and I'm sure people will get a lot out of it. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate the time and being asked. Thank you.